If you've ever wondered how advertisers track exactly how they're getting traffic and how that traffic performs, then you probably need to know about campaign URLs. So when you click on any sort of ad online, usually what will happen is it has some URL parameters at the end of the URL to tell the marketer managing the campaign, whoa, those are cool, exactly what happened. So I searched Nike Air and then I clicked on an ad, and parameters usually have a question mark, and then they have, in this case, GCLID is something that's related to Google Ads, so I won't go into that very much, but usually it tells the marketer exactly what happened. And so you can see here that they're saying that I searched Nike Air on Google, and it's something about the device, and then it has the click ID. And so that is an example of what's going on. Let's talk about that in a little bit of a different and simpler way where we have full control. So I created a campaign URL that we're going to reuse in Facebook. And I just want you to get a sense first of how the campaign URL works. So we have this regular blog post, which you can access here. And what we want to do is we want to be able to see where did the traffic to this blog post come, and then which of those traffic sources are generating the most actual customers for us. So what we do there is build a campaign URL. I've pre-built this URL, but I'm going to reverse engineer and show you exactly how to use a URL, or how to build your own campaign URL and track traffic from Facebook. So let me just refresh this page exactly as is, and we can see that this is the basic URL, and then we have that question mark I talked about, and then UTM source. That's set by Google. And so you'll see that very commonly in a lot of ads. And then you have the Facebook feed, the campaign name where we're sending traffic from, and the UTM term, and then the UTM content. That is, so this is our campaign name. The term is our ad set name, and then the content is our ad ID. So if you want to see that in Google Analytics, I just go to real time, and then I go to traffic sources, and this will show you, the page views. And, if you want, you can filter out and you can show only your traffic, but this is a pretty low traffic site, only 15 people on the site right now. And so we can see here that who we are. So we see here that the Facebook feed is also, so the source is Facebook, and the medium is Facebook feed. So we see here medium, Facebook feed, or medium, and then source Facebook, and we can click in there and see a little bit more. Oh, look, so the campaign is our top of funnel AgriLogics free trial campaign. So that's how we know that our Facebook, or that our UTM tracking URL is working. Now let's look at how we build that, both in general, if you want to create any sort of campaign URL, and on Facebook. So a campaign URL builder is provided by Google Analytics, and this is sort of the standard URL builder. I've used it many, many times. It hasn't changed in years, so it's pretty timeless. So you just Google campaign URL builder, go to this page, and then you enter the website URL that you want, and then it shows you, okay, campaign source. So if I have, in this case, it's Facebook, and you can change this to say, I'm just going to add another example, newsletter, or any other source. And then the medium, we might say, okay, this is our MailChimp newsletter, or a transactional newsletter, a welcome email, that kind of thing. And then what is it exactly that you're doing with this MailChimp newsletter? Let's just say, for example, it's almost Valentine's Day. So let's say Valentine's Day, Valentine's Day. And then the term is usually for paid, like cost per click ads on Facebook or that kind of thing. And then the campaign content is usually for the different ads that you might have. So if I was going to send a MailChimp Valentine's Day newsletter to my users, then I would actually add this to the link that I send people to from my site. MailChimp also has a built-in UTM builder, but I just wanted to show you kind of what's going on in the background so that you can build your own URL and campaign URL anytime you want. So again, we see Jane's USA blog, Watch Your Agricultural Profits Soar. That's that main URL. And then the UTM source newsletter. And so then I'm just going to show you one more time. We're going to go through it. So here we are. You can see the UTM. And then if you're going to check a new URL, you have to make sure and delete these filters from the top. And you can see, oh, look, MailChimp newsletter. And if you want to click into it, you can see, oh, that was the Valentine's Day newsletter. That wasn't the, March sale, spring sale, that newsletter that generated so many sales. So that's that. Now that you know what UTMs are, how to track them on Google Analytics, when you're out of real time, you will go to usually audience or acquisition and then campaigns, and you can see all of your campaigns and you can see exactly what's going on. Here is actually the what most of the time what will happen if you don't customize your MailChimp campaigns. It will look like that at the end if you don't clean that up. So anyway, it's helpful, right? You can see the date of when that email campaign was sent from MailChimp. We can also change it to, I actually really like this source and medium. So you can see they sent an email to their AgriValley list. Now, let's go into Facebook and see exactly how we can do this with Facebook ads. So here we go. Here's our ad, and then we have our URL. It's that same blog post that we had in the beginning. You click on build a URL parameter, and what these are just variables that are inserted dynamically into the URL. So for the campaign source, we want that site source. By default, most of the time it's going to be Facebook. Sometimes it will be Instagram, because when you advertise on Facebook, unless you tell it not to, it will advertise on Instagram as well as on their network of other websites. And then campaign medium, you will just do your so let's see, that would be the placement. So that might be, Facebook feed, Instagram story, and it shows you here, or, maybe it's the right side rail, whatever. And so you'll see what placements are working well for you. And then campaign name, I just match with campaign name. And campaign content, I usually have as the ad set name. And then if you want, you can add more parameters, but usually I find that that's plenty. So then you just make sure that that looks right, and note that, what these little yellow boxes are basically saying is, if you change the name or any other items in your campaign after it started running, then it will keep that same tracking URL, even though you changed the name on the front end. So what that means is that no matter what happens, as long as you're running this campaign, the tracking will always stay the same. So just keep that in mind. The reason that they do that is for consistency. You just hit apply, and then it will automatically generate this URL. And then sometimes what I'll do, or what you should always do, is just click that URL, make sure you're still going to your website, and you can check it again in Google Analytics, and by going to real-time overview, and then going to traffic sources, and you can see here that placement and site source name, because it hasn't actually gone through the Facebook system, those are just showing as placeholders, but they will be dynamically replaced when the ad goes live and when that ad is showing up on any particular location. And so when someone clicks on the ad over to your site, that will populate, and you'll be able to see how your campaigns are performing. And then you can look into, how many of these people are staying on the site, how many of them are buying. If you have questions about that, feel free to enter your questions in the comments or comments in the comments. And I really hope this was helpful to you. Great. Thanks.